Okay, so the last couple weeks I talked more about eating, nutritional habits, emotional eating, all that stuff. This week I wanted to focus more on movement and talk about workouts and how often should you be working out for progress and what type of workout is the best style of workout. And really these questions come down to yourself and what your goals are and also what your lifestyle is. So like all of my other videos, it is personalized and it does depend on a lot of differing factors, but I'm going to try and give you like the most common denominator answer that would serve probably the most amount of people. So most of the clients who come to me, they do want to lose a little bit of fat. They want to tone up. They want to see a little bit more muscle definition. And I don't mean big, bulky muscles. That's not what I mean by muscle definition. But when people say they want to get lean and see some definition and tone, that means you need to build muscle. And don't worry, you would never get bulky by accident. People who have large, bulky muscles are very, very specific and work really incredibly hard to achieve that physique. It doesn't just happen by accident. So you do not have to worry that will potentially maybe happen to you, because it won't. So if you want to lose some weight, I really highly suggest strength training. Cardio alone won't do it. You will lose weight with cardio, but you won't get that like tone and kind of like that tightness looking with your body if you just do cardio. And then the other problem with just doing cardio is that when you get injured, which usually happens when people don't diversify and don't cross train, then you have nothing else to like lean on, and it can be really hard emotionally, mentally, when you're injured and you can't do the exercise that you enjoy to do. So there's a ton of benefits to having a well-rounded workout regime and schedule and routine. So strength training 100% I would recommend for everyone. And I think for people, the problem is often they'll do strength training, but they'll do really light weights and they'll do workouts that maybe get them sweaty, but they're not actually really challenging the muscles. So you want to do workouts with weights that it is hard to do, usually 12 or 15 reps. If you can do over 15, if you can do 20, 30 reps with the weights that you're using, that's a good indicator that you are training muscular endurance, which is fine. Nothing wrong with training muscular endurance. But if you want muscle tone, muscle definition, then you need to train muscle hypertrophy. I always say that word wrong. And so that is in the like 8 to 12 rep range. And so you need weights that are challenging to do those reps. So that would be my recommendation if you want to tone up, you want to lose some fat. If you enjoy running, absolutely put running into your weekly routine. If you enjoy cycling, if you enjoy swimming, build those things in. But if you don't enjoy running, you do not need to run to lose weight. You can lose weight by focusing on strength training, doing that a couple times a week, and then honestly really focusing in on your nutrition. A lot of people think or try to lean more heavily on the workout side of it because the nutrition side, to be honest, is harder, I think, for a lot of people. It requires changing a lot more habits, but that's where you're really gonna see a lot of the results in terms of weight loss. So in terms of quantity, how often should you work out? How long should you work out? And this does come down to lifestyle. In the beginning, especially if you feel maxed, you feel like you have no time for workouts, how the heck are you gonna fit something in? Let's aim for 15 or 20 minutes and do that 3 to 4 times a week. And often, and I've seen this myself with my clients, that is enough for progress. That is enough to see results. Eventually, I would suggest that most of my clients get up to, let's say, 3 to 4 times a week for 30 to 40 minutes, maybe an hour if you can fit that into your schedule. But there's no point in your head just being like, I need to work out for an hour 3 times a week, or it doesn't count. If I only do 15 or 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. And that is kind of dangerous thinking, because if you don't have time for an hour, then you feel like you failed. And then it's like, oh, what's the point? And there is a point. The point is consistency. The point is showing up for yourself and your health. And the point is making it a priority, even if you can't get 60 minutes. And like I said, if you're training appropriately and you're doing the right kind of exercises for you and your goals, you will see progress. So take a look at your schedule and see what's realistic. If you're really doing nothing right now, then don't aim for 3 workouts times 60 minutes, because you're trying to go from here to here. If you're here and you're doing nothing, let's go here. Let's aim for 3 workouts at 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And if you need some suggestions for strength training, I have my free dumbbell dash. I feel like I've sent it out so many times over the years. It's 5 workouts that you only need a set of dumbbells, and they all are 15 minutes or less. And if you don't have that and you would like that, just shoot me an email and I'll send it to you. It's free. There's little videos that accompany it and show you the exercises if you're not familiar with them. And that's a good start for strength training. At some point, that won't get you the results you need because you need to progress and you need heavier weights and you need more structure. But it's a really good entry point for people who don't have any strength training in their lives or their routine at all at this moment. Okay, so I've talked a lot about strength training, but one more thing I want to talk about is like what style. So the dumbbell dash workouts are like, they're kind of metabolic conditioning, which means that they're quick, they're fast, they get your heart rate up, they get you sweaty, they're short, and they are effective, especially if you are starting with like a baseline of 0 and you need something to bring routine into your life for working out. Those are awesome. What is the best workout to get the results? And honestly, the best workout is the one you're gonna do. So if you're gonna do something consistently, because all it takes is 15 minutes and that's all you have in your time, in your schedule, in your life, that's all mentally you can handle, then that is the best workout for you. If you love spin and you know you're gonna go to spin 3 times a week, then that is the best workout for you. There is no magic answer. There is no one thing that is gonna get everyone the results, because what is gonna get you the results is consistency. Now, if you've built up the time and the structure in your life and you can set more time aside, I definitely think that some heavier strength training will get you further along the spectrum of results. But it also, like I said, depends where you're at, right? Here's a spectrum. Are you starting here? Are you halfway along? Have you been working out for 3 or 4 years and now you're not seeing the progress and you're kind of at this like stagnant spot and you're getting frustrated? Those are different strategies that we would use versus if you're in the beginning. Right? So it really depends on where you're at. The one thing I want to say is that most people, 99% of people, have too much stress in their life. And stress can be a major barrier, I suppose, to seeing progress. So if your stress is really high, you're not sleeping well, your cortisol is just pumping on overtime all the time. And so what you don't need is another strenuous workout. You don't need 5 or 6 days a week of spin class, of like hill sprints, of like metabolic conditioning workout, of boxercise, of like all of these intense things that are just spiking your stress and your cortisol levels. If you have all that stress in your work life, in your family life, and you're not sleeping well, that's too much cortisol production on like a long-term basis, and you're just like constantly in a reactive stress state. So you need to work in more walks, you need to work in more yoga, you need to work in some slower strength training, some things that are challenging that aren't always where your heart rate's up here. And also things like the walk and yoga that allow you movement, but allow you time to decompress. And those are really, really important pieces that factor into a well-rounded workout program. So like all my advice on the nutrition coaching, same with the movement, it really depends on the person, and it's often why a lot of these plans maybe you've tried in the past haven't worked, because they're generic. They don't account for you and your life and your personality and the stressors and the unique things that are happening for you and your schedule. So if you want to work with me and you would like to we'll come up with a customized nutrition approach, customized strength training approach, and give you a ton of accountability and motivation to make sure that you get to where you need to go. I have 2 spots available for online coaching, so you can just send me a message and we'll set up a call and we'll just chat, because I want to work with people who are aligned with my coaching philosophy and my approach to health and fitness, and people who I believe are in a spot where I can help them. And that's easier if we just have a phone conversation, so I can chat with you, learn about where you're at, what your goals are, what you've tried in the past, what's worked, what hasn't, and then I can explain how I work with my clients one-on-one. So if you're interested, shoot me an email and we'll schedule that call, and maybe you can grab one of those spots. And if these videos were helpful, I would love to know what sort of tidbit and information piece really resonated with you and what you're gonna take and move forward with and use.